We good. We good. Okay. All right. So Nate and Jerry here. We're gonna try our hand at kind of a very short podcast, especially if you've heard any of the ones that Brad and Coleman and I have done in the past. We're gonna try to make this a decent amount shorter, actually able to be listened to in one sitting. Um, Kind of the focus is we're going to talk about just NFL stuff a little bit, but we kind of want to get into the trivia, like game show side of things, I think. So Jerry and I are both big fans of like the Around the NFL podcast, if anyone's heard of that, and like the fantasy footballers. And I'm a big fan of the DDFP, and they do like surprise game show on there and stuff. So we're just going to kind of try our hand at that and see if it's any fun. Before we start getting into those, I'll give you guys like a warning in case you want to pause and see if you can answer any of them yourself. See if you can stump Jerry, who's going to be trying to answer them quickly. And just let us know how you do if you do try that for the couple people who are going to listen. Jerry, anything to add to that before we start discussing our NFL business?
No, not really. What's my name again?
I guess I called him Jerry earlier. We have a tentative title of the show that's a spin of the old, what was the show called, Jerry?
Stump the Schwab.
So the old show was called Stump The Schwab, if you guys have ever heard of that. Famously, famous mistake by Jerry calling it Stump The Schwammy. Don't know really where he got that from, but we're going to tentatively refer to Jerry as the Schwammy. See if you guys can't stop the Schwammy.
It's alright, it sounds better anyway.
Yeah, it kind of fits with the theme here. So I guess we'll jump right into things. We're gonna just talk about kind of the biggest NFL news of the last week, make some Super Bowl predictions, and then get into our games. So the biggest thing that went down was the Alex Smith trade. Obviously affects the Redskins and the Chiefs, and then opens up discussion about landing spots for Kirk Cousins. Jerry, any big takeaway? What do you think about the trade, I guess? Any big Kirk Cousins predictions or how it'll affect him or Alex Smith or anything like that?
I mean, I guess like it really opens up like quarterback movement around the league, but like a part that was kind of overlooked was how Kendall Fuller got shipped back to the Chiefs and just like made their defense like even better. He was like a top 10 cornerback on the year with an already like really good secondary, and it's just like beefing up their defense in my mind.
Yeah, I think we talked about beforehand him opposite of Marcus Peters, and then depending on how Eric Berry could do, it could make their defense even better. He's kind of an underrated piece in the trade because the third rounder didn't seem like that much to me. I think Alex Smith's a little underrated. He's a pretty good quarterback. But
I think you put him in the right system and it'd be like pretty decent for him. Obviously, Andy Reid's system was like super conservative and never really wanted to like test like the deep routes or anything. And yeah, I mean, as far as Alex Smith, I don't think it's a huge like upgrade for like the Redskins, but it's not necessarily like a big downgrade or anything.
yeah, I think they come out about even with a little bit more set in stone, like consistency for the future plans instead of dealing with the franchise tag every year.
Yeah.
Jay Gruden will probably open it up a little bit more than Reed would have. I think it's a little bit of a downgrade in weapons. With last year they lost Garcon and Deshaun Jackson, but I mean they still have Jordan Reed. It's a little bit less than Kelsey just because he doesn't play as often.
True.
Chris Thompson's a little bit less than Kareem Hunt. They don't have Tyreek Hill, so maybe a slight downswing there.
Yeah, and then the other side of it is you gotta look. It's time for the Patty Mahomes show.
That's true. So if you guys don't know, you probably do. For the couple people listening, I'm a big Oakland Raiders fan. I prefer seeing Patty Mahomes, at least right now. I think he's going to be a downgrade from Alex Smith. I don't know what you think, Jerry. I mean, he's more exciting for sure.
I mean, he's probably a downgrade because he's barely played, but he definitely has like a
Higher
cannon
ceiling.
for an arm. And all the Mr. Raiders fan wants to say he wants Patty Mahomes to play. He's a secret closet Patty Mahomes.
Oh, I
fan.
do like him. He's exciting. Don't get me wrong there. I think he'll make a couple more mistakes early on, though.
Yeah.
So that's kind of what I'm
growing
looking for.
pains anyway. So.
Yeah. before we move on from talking about that, any prediction where Cousins might go? I know the big one is the Broncos, heard Jets, Cardinals, stuff like that.
I think if it's up to him, he would probably want to go to the Broncos, but depending on like the money situation there, since they pay so much money to their defense, and they're starting to get a little older, so they might free up space, get rid of some defensive players. I've heard Aqib Talib might get shipped somewhere. Um, if I'm him, also like I do not want to go to the Jets. They don't have their offense is garbage. Like they don't have anybody that I find appealing as like a fan.
Right, and to kind of jump on that, obviously it would be awesome if he went to the Browns. And to me, they have even more pieces than the Jets do, at least on offense. I mean, Josh Gordon seems pretty good when he came back. Corey Coleman kind of blew the end of that last game, but he's still a pretty good receiver, at least up and coming.
Yeah,
and Njoku is pretty good.
The Browns have like decent players. Obviously, coming from like a Browns player, like I'm a little biased, even though they're a hot piece of garbage. But they get like a decent offense going, and although Kaiser gave it his best shot, I think Cousins like would be pretty gnarly behind center.
Yeah, and something that I think would have went well for them, although it would have been a little bit boring, is if Alex Smith would have went there, just because of how drastic the swing and turnovers would have been going from someone who's hyper aggressive like Kaiser to ultra conservative like Alex Smith. I mean, their defense didn't seem too bad, so maybe that could have kept them in some more games.
True. It's kind of a pretty similar player too, like as far as like he can run and he can do like short dump down passes and stuff, and he's just way more conservative, which is kind of what they need until they can figure out how to at least get like 6-10 or something.
Be a normal team.
Yeah.
All right, so enough of that. I guess we do have the Super Bowl coming up tomorrow. I think we're with the majority of people that we're both pulling for the Birds. Both want the Eagles to win, but also at the same time they're huge underdogs. Do you have any predictions about what's going to happen? Any insight at all? What are you thinking?
I'm thinking the Patriots might just kind of put this one on ice early, put them away. The only thing that could really change. Oh well, before anything that could change, the Eagles have also been. I've seen a lot of reports that like all their players are sick. I mean, it could be a controversy. I don't know, but I know that a lot of them are. I know Nelson Aguilar had like an IV today because he was like dying.
It's that cold Minnesota air.
Something, they're just dying. But what I'm really hoping for in the Super Bowl, and I said this the other day when we were talking, hopefully Tom just gets a little, like I don't want him to die or anything, but if he got like a little itchy butthole and Brian Hoyer came in and took over the show, like that's kind of what I want to happen.
I'd like to at least watch it. Nick Foles v. Brian Hoyer.
It would definitely be exciting.
Yeah. Yeah, at the same I'm kind of feeling the same way. I think it's not going to be particularly close, maybe like 10-point game. I think if I had to pick a score, like 27-17, something like that. But I don't know. It is kind of weird that all of their Super Bowls that they've been to have all been pretty close.
That's true.
I think all one-score games.
They're all decently close. Obviously, all those like field goals early on when Tom first started playing. But another thing I saw last week, and I don't remember the exact stat, but it was like the Patriots like hardly score in the first quarter of the Super Bowl.
Yeah, I was about to bring that up. I don't think they've scored in the first quarter of the Super Bowl.
Or
maybe not a touchdown or something.
Yeah, it's like
that.
super low, whatever it is. And then the one that they did, I think they lost to the Giants.
Yeah, so last year we felt good about the Falcons jumping out to an early lead. Maybe the Eagles can do that. Yet, hang on. And,
I hope maybe
they have a little bit better defense.
Get a little lucky early on. Maybe Foles can work some of his playoff magic he's riding on, and hopefully at least make it a game. Because I really, at this point, just don't really see it being that close.
Any score prediction before we move on?
I'm thinking, like you said, 27-17. I'm thinking like maybe 30-10.
Even more of a blowout.
30-14.
I could definitely see it happen. We're either going to get like last week's Nick Foles, and that means the game's going to be close probably, or we're going to get the month prior to that, and it's going to be a blowout.
And then another thing I kind of heard on the radio, getting my information from other sources.
Right.
Somebody thought that they always talk about Belichick being the guy like ruining everybody else when it comes to play out like the alarms in hotels and maybe the Eagles being sick and stuff. Yeah. But I heard that potentially Doug Peterson playing up the whole role of the Eagles being sick, and all along they're perfectly healthy.
Ooh, getting in the Patriots' head a
Yeah,
little bit.
going a little, taking it the other way.
All right. Okay, so I'm going to add one more thing in here, just some recent news before we get into our game. We just saw on Twitter T.O. potentially leaking that he's in the Hall of Fame. What do you think about that?
I don't know if he will be. Definitely think he should be. Him leaking it's kind of funny, I guess. If he is in, I guess that's kind of his revenge for them keeping him out for his role in the media or whatever. But he's top 3 all time in receiving yards, I believe. Definitely receiving touchdowns. But still, like, you have to be in the Hall. There's no way that.
Yeah, to me, he's definitely a top 3 receiver, and to our understanding, the decision is not final yet, but maybe he has a little bit of insight that we don't know about.
Yeah, like percentage of votes for him or something like that, or at least knowing like who's been eliminated, what his chances are, something along those lines.
Yeah, and then we talked about some of the awards going on tonight. I just got an update. Aaron Donald won the Defensive Player of the Year. Thoughts on that? Seems like he probably deserved it.
Pretty deserving. A year with like players, well, specifically J.J. Watt being hurt like all year. He's a huge playmaker. Von Miller kind of having like a down year.
Yeah, Mac had a down year.
Mac had a down year. No like specific like corners. You think just like no Josh Normans of like years past, or Sherman got hurt, things like that. And Aaron Donald's been dominating for several years.
Plus the Rams were actually good this year, so that kind of helped.
Finally get some recognition, some players around him. Probably something he deserves to finally get.
Okay, so that being said, we're going to move on to the game show part of this. We're going to try to keep it pretty short. Like we said, we're 12 minutes in right now. We probably don't want to go any more than like 25 total. We'll kind of see where we end. As we said, we're both fans of the Around the NFL podcast. If anyone listens to that, they used to have a game called Win Wes's Toaster. We're going to do something that's pretty similar, kind of a longer version. So on that game, what they did is they had 1 minute to answer 6 NFL football-ish related questions, and to see how many you get right. What we're going to do is I have 10 questions, and we're going to go for 5 minutes. So you're going to get So the Schwammy, Jerry, is going to get a little bit longer time to think about it. And what I'll ask for the couple people listening is try your hand at it too. See if you guys do a little bit better than he is. See if you can't stump him. What I am going to say, they're varying difficulty. They're Super Bowl themed, loosely at least. And I will allow you on one question. If you absolutely can't think of it, you can have a hint. I'll give you one hint.
On just one question?
Yeah, on one of the 10 questions.
Okay.
And you're going to be able to give one answer, and we're not going to tell you till the end if you're right or wrong.
Oh, man.
So it's not one of those quizzes online or anything where you're going to say if you got it right after you answer. At the very end, we're going to tell you how many you got.
All right, Schwammy's going to give it his best shot here.
We'll see if we can't get some Duel of the Fates playing in the background a little bit, too.
Give me hype.
Okay, do you think you're ready?
I think. Just a little note for the listeners. Earlier this week, Nate doesn't know this, but I was thinking about the Super Bowl, and for about 10 minutes, I couldn't remember who played in the Super Bowl last year.
Okay, so maybe you guys might win the first one. Come out swinging.
So Super Bowl trivia might not be my forte for the day, but hopefully we get it going.
And to be honest, it's probably not my favorite kind of trivia. I think we would both agree we kind of like the random players, like name and stuff like that, and that usually doesn't come with the Super Bowl players.
Yeah, we get we get wild with our trivia, just random facts from like early 90s, early 2000s is our forte.
I guess one helpful guideline is I tried to keep things that you would potentially at least know. So that means I'm not pulling out Super Bowl I too often here.
Yeah, I wouldn't know anything.
You don't want to talk about the Packers and Chiefs, I believe, and Bart Starr and all that.
Just that
I think
picture
you're good.
Of that guy smoking a cigarette at halftime. That's all I care about.
All right, so do you think you're ready to get going here? Let's see if we can't get the music, at least in the background, a little bit here.
Let's get hype.
All right, here we go. All right, you think you're ready, Jerry?
I'm ready as I'm going to be.
All right, so I'm going to read the question, and if you want me to go to the next one, just say pass. If not, you can give an answer, and we'll just come back through, and we'll just keep coming through for 5 minutes.
5 minutes, 10 questions?
Yep.
And at pass, we'll just go back around?
Yep, we'll just keep going until the end.
I am ready.
All right. And again, try your hand at this as well. Let us know how you do. So we're going to start in 3, 2, 1. All right. Who is performing the halftime show this year?
JT.
Okay. Number 2. Nick Foles is regarded as one of the worst starting quarterbacks in Super Bowl history. Which quarterback holds the record for the most INTs in a Super Bowl? Pass. Okay, started out with a little easy one, got a little bit harder. Quarterbacks usually dominate the Super Bowl MVP award. Who was the last quarterback to win the award? Not named Tom Brady. You can think out loud if you need to. I won't take a final answer.
So I want to say Peyton Manning.
Okay, it's a decent guess.
Let's see.
Definitely a good QB.
Breeze a couple years ago, I think, had one.
Okay, he was definitely there.
Russell Wilson maybe had one.
Seahawks have been in it.
I'm thinking probably Peyton, though. Pass will come back.
Pass will come back. And we're about at 1 minute. Speaking of quarterbacks dominating the award, only 3 defensive players have won it since 2000. Name one.
Von Miller.
Okay. The question 5. The helmet catch is one of the most famous plays in recent history. Who caught the pass?
David Tyree.
Okay.
Been all over Twitter this week.
Yes. Okay, number 6. Stephen Gostkowski is tied for 3rd most PATs in Super Bowl history. Which kicker has the most Super Bowl PATs in their career?
Gostkowski is 3rd.
He's tied for 3rd.
Who has the most?
Who has the most?
So I obviously kind of want to think Vinatieri.
Okay.
Although he hasn't been there in a while.
It's been a little while, especially with him on the Colts now.
Also thinking Gary Anderson had billions of kicks for millions of teams.
Yeah, he's just been on every team pretty much.
I think he's kicked a lot. It's not the Bills kicker from the 90s.
Anti-clutch.
I'm gonna say Vinatieri.
Okay, is that your final, or do you want to pass?
Yeah, I'll just take that.
Okay, we'll take Vinatieri there.
More than that.
And we're at 2 minutes now, so I think you're gonna have plenty of time to think about those extra ones.
What's this one? 6.
Question 7.
Okay.
Although selected frequently, it's been 13 seasons since Tom Brady's actually played in a Pro Bowl. Can you name 3 of the 4 AFC quarterbacks from this year?
From this year?
Yes.
AFC. Derek Carr.
Okay.
Alex Smith.
Okay.
Who else played? Phillip Rivers did not play.
Okay.
Although he probably should have.
And if you're not sure, you can say those 2. We'll come back and answer one more later if you want.
Working at 2:30.
Yeah, we're about halfway done, and we're over halfway through the questions.
Let's see. I want to think Mariota. I'm not sure. I didn't watch the whole thing. Bortles didn't play.
Yeah, and I'll spoil it. I didn't watch it very much. So
I just kind of turned
like
in,
1
and
or
I
2
know
minutes.
I saw a lot of Carr. And I know who was on the NFC. I wish you would ask that side, because I remember all of it.
Would have made it a little bit easier.
All right, we'll come back for the 3rd one.
Okay, we'll call that a pass. Okay, question 8, 3 minutes in. How did Patriots head coach Bill Belichick famously resign from the position as head coach of the New York Jets?
How did he do it?
Yeah, how did he famously resign?
All I know is that he was there for a day, and I can't remember really what he did. Kind of might have just left. Didn't really tell him.
Is that your answer, or do you want to come back to
Not
it?
my answer. Come back.
Okay.
I don't know. That was going to be a guess.
That's a hard one. Number 9. Which quarterback has won the Super Bowl with 2 separate teams?
2 different teams. Peyton.
Is that your answer, or you want to keep talking about it?
Keep talking about it. Is this recent? Recent?
Where are you sitting in? I will say most of these have been since like the 90s, 2000s at least. I didn't go super far back. No Fran Tarkenton in here. No anything like that.
Russell Wilson hasn't won two teams. Drew Brees done it.
And we have 1 minute remaining, guys.
Peyton. I'm just going to say
Peyton. Okay. And question 10, and then we'll cycle back. What 4 teams have never reached the Super Bowl?
Never?
Never.
The Vikings? Someone recent. The Texans? The Titans? Is that 3?
That is 3 that you've named.
Oh my god, I'm going to run out of time.
We got 30 seconds.
Jaguars. Go to the other questions.
Okay, go to the other questions. Who has the most INTs in the Super Bowl?
Throne?
Yep.
Rex Grossman.
Okay. Last quarterback to win the award? Could you say Peyton?
Peyton, yeah.
Okay. 3 out of the 4 AFC quarterbacks.
Oh,
5, 4, 3,
Mariota. I'm going
2,
Derek Carr, Alex
1. How did he
Mariota.
resign?
I don't know.
Okay,
Don't know
that's
that.
5 minutes, guys.
I'm
So
gonna
stop
say-
there if you were playing along.
For that question I didn't answer, I'm just going to say he walked in, saw the facility, and was like, nah, fam.
No, we're done. Okay, so let's go through, see how many you got right. I will say for the ones where you had to name a couple, at least for this first time, what we're going to do is if you got all of them, you got it right. If you missed any, it doesn't count.
Okay, that's fine.
So we're holding you to a high standard here.
I got like most of them. I think I got like,
So like if you got 2 out of the 3 or something like that on one of them, or 3 out of the 4, that in the last question, it's not going to count. Okay, so let's go back. Number 1, who's performing the halftime show this year? Justin Timberlake. Got that one. Started you out with an easy one.
easy
We said who has thrown the most interceptions in a Super Bowl. You said Rex Grossman. Sorry, that one's incorrect. Unfortunately, this was former Raiders quarterback Rich Gannon. When they got blown out by the Buccaneers, he threw 5.
Woo.
Yep, 3 for pick sixes.
Man, I just know Rex Grossman was like god awful when he played. I couldn't remember if he even threw any interceptions. I just know he was really bad.
Yeah, he was pretty bad. Last quarterback to win the award not named Tom Brady. You said Peyton. This one's kind of a wild one. It's another elite quarterback.
Probably Breeze.
Joe Flacco.
Flacco. Wow.
Yeah.
Wow, can't even take in the elite hit.
Nope, I tried.
I'm a fool. I didn't even use my hit. What an idiot. I had a hit.
First time here.
Could have used it on that Belichick one.
Yeah, that would have helped. Only 3 defensive players have won the award. Name 1. You said Von Miller.
Yeah.
Von Miller was one of them. The other 2 were Ray Lewis and Malcolm Smith. So you're sitting out of 2 out of 4 so far. I know, that's kind of a weird one. Who caught the helmet catch? David Tyree. That's another one that puts you at 3 out of 5.
Right.
You said for the kicker, most PATs, Vinatieri.
Vinatieri, don't know, but
It was Adam Vinatieri. So you're 4 out of 6 so far. Looking pretty good.
I was either getting that one or I was just not going to answer.
So he's number 1 by a decent amount. I'll be honest, I didn't know the guy who was number 2, so I didn't go with like name one of the 2. Didn't know who it was. We wanted to name 3 of the 4 AFC quarterbacks in the Pro Bowl. You said Derek Carr, Phillip Rivers, and Marcus Mariota.
Derek Carr, Alex Smith. I considered Rivers.
Oh, yeah, you said
but I knew
Rivers
he
didn't make it.
Yeah, I knew he didn't play. And then I couldn't remember if Mariota played or not, but I figured he was deserving.
So you went Carr, Smith, Mariota?
Yeah.
Your 4 options were Carr, Smith, Phillip Rivers did play, and Ben Roethlisberger, so you didn't get that one.
Wow.
So you're 4 out of 7.
Knocked myself out.
How did Bill Belichick resign? He did not just simply walk away. He left a note on a napkin.
Oh, that's even better.
Yep.
It's very petty of him.
I know it was. Resigned from HC of NYJ.
Good move. Top move.
So you're 4 out of 8, 50-50. Number 9, which quarterbacks won the Super Bowl with 2 separate teams? It was Peyton.
Okay.
So you're at 5 and 9.
I had an epiphany of Tony Dungy and Peyton standing next to each other.
Nice.
Knew that he got to.
I think I would have narrowed it down to that and maybe Kurt Warner, but I think they lost that one.
He lost
against the
lost with
Steelers.
Cardinals.
Yeah. And then what 4 teams have never reached the Super Bowl?
Oh, I was getting rushed. I know one.
Yeah,
of
the
them's
Titans and
definitely
Vikings have.
wrong. Yeah.
So it was the Browns, Texans, Lions, and Jags.
Okay, I got Texans and Jags.
Yeah. So you went 50-50.
I got confused because I was thinking, all right, the Browns are awful. So I was like, they've probably never been. But then at the same time, I was like, man, they were good in like the 50s. But that was probably before it was the NFL.
Yeah.
They were in the AFL.
Right, so it was Super Bowls, not titles.
Yeah.
So to move on quickly, we're at 25. To keep it under a half hour, we'll give you 5 minutes for the next one. This next one is how many can you name, basically, and there's a list. Okay. And we'll pose the question of, and we'll start the timer here in just a second too. There have been 21 starting quarterbacks, including this upcoming Super Bowl, since 2000. How many can you name? So we're going to give you 5 minutes and to see how many of them you can name. It doesn't really matter how many you get wrong. Okay. Just how many can you name in 5 minutes, and then we're going to wrap up. That'll put us at almost exactly a half hour.
Okay.
Ready to go?
Yeah.
All right, so we'll say 3, 2, 1, go. So you can just start naming, and we'll kind of cross them off.
Joe Flacco.
Okay. He's in.
Big Ben.
Okay, that's another one.
Peyton.
Peyton. Okay, so far so good.
Kurt Warner.
Kurt Warner, we just talked about him.
Drew Brees.
Another one. So we're getting kind of the big names out of the way.
Tom.
Tom Brady, kind of an obvious one.
Eli.
Eli again, the controversial Hall of Fame with 2 Super Bowl wins.
Russell Wilson.
Okay. Seahawks been there a few times.
Matt Ryan.
Just last year.
Just remember the Super Bowl from last year. Rich Gannon.
Okay. Yep. Well, haven't said him yet, but
okay.
Yes, he's in there.
And he played the Bucs. I want to say Trent Dilfer.
Trent Dilfer's on the list. Maybe not the one that.
Brad Johnson.
There it is, Brad Johnson. So doing pretty good so far. We're closing in on 1 minute.
Let's see. Who else played? How many do I have?
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12 of the 21.
Ooh, I'm not even that close.
Got 4 minutes left. Hypothetically, if you get them all before the time, we'll see if anyone can beat your time.
All right, who else has played as of recent? Donovan McNabb played one.
There you go. So no wrong ones yet.
He played Tom. So Tom's just big character here.
All right, who's played Tom basically?
Let's see. Whenever I do these kind of things, I look through the divisions and think about who.
Yeah, think about what. So you're 2/3 of the way.
Oh, Aaron Rodgers.
That's another good one. No real wrong ones yet. 15. That's fair. You know, just anything.
Give me like a one.
And we're halfway through, so 2:30.
Give me one that I would have more problem figuring out.
Okay, so we'll go with Super Bowl. Or I already mentioned that. I'm trying to think of a good one to give you. You said it since 2000.
Yeah.
So Super Bowl 2000, you already said one of these teams didn't show up, and you guessed them as one that wouldn't show up too, but they actually had.
So the Titans, maybe, and it was Steve McNair.
There you go, Steve McNair. So that was a good hint.
See, I kind of pictured that, and I could not remember.
So we're under 2 minutes left now.
What am I at? Like 16, 17,
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16 out of the 21.
Okay. Who played 2 years ago?
That's kind of what you got to start thinking. Just kind of going down the list in your head. Minute and a half.
Did I say Rex Grossman already? Because I know I said another thing.
I believe you have.
Okay. Man, this is harder than I would think. Let's see. Oh, Cam.
Okay, so there's another one.
Who else?
So I think that you need 4 more, I think. So 2000 through this year.
I did Saints, Falcons, Panthers.
You got 1 minute remaining, guys.
Saints, Falcons, Panthers. Who is the other team in that division?
Uh-oh. The fatigue is really setting in.
Too much thinking. I really can't. Oh, the Bucks. I already did the Bucks. I already did the AFC
So who
North.
have you named as the division you're having problems with?
I named them all. The
Okay.
Bucks was the 4th one. The AFC South's been bad. Luck hasn't been.
We'll give you 30 more seconds here.
NFC North, I already named Rodgers. I don't think Stafford's been. None of the Vikings that I can remember since 2000 have been. The Bears, I did Grossman. Man, I don't know. I'm struggling here.
We got about 10 seconds, so if you want to throw out some names, it doesn't matter if you get them wrong.
Joe Webb, Philip
4,
Rivers,
3, 2, 1.
John Elway.
All right, so we'll stop it there, guys. Count up how many you got. See if you can't beat Jerry's total of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16. I have 17 of the 21.
Okay.
So you're missing 18, 19, 20, 21. You're missing 4 of them.
All right, before you read them, how many of them should I probably have got?
At least 2, probably 3. I don't blame you for one of them.
Okay.
We'll say that. So I tried to drop another small hint in there, again, that it was 2000 through this year. You didn't name Nick Foles.
Oh, I didn't think about this.
Yeah, so
oh,
that's one of them.
Pretty easy one.
Another one that I think you probably should have got, this was kind of the time what we were starting to get into it, was Jake Delhomme.
Oh,
Panthers,
early
Patriots.
Panthers.
Yeah. And another one that I think, we talked about the Seahawks a lot with Russell Wilson, but also Matt Hasselbeck.
Matt Hasselbeck playing against the Steelers.
And then the one that I'm not sure that you would have got was Kerry Collins. So that was
For which team?
I believe that was the Giants against
okay.
the Ravens, maybe.
Okay, I kind of remember that.
So did pretty good. 17 out of 21.
Should have probably got. I don't know if I would remember Jake Delhomme, although I definitely watched that Super Bowl and got angry at it.
So we went So Jerry went 50-50 through our homage to Win Wes's Toaster, and 17 of 21, a lot better with the name and the starting quarterbacks in the Super Bowl since 2000. Let us know how you did, guys. We'll wrap up there because we went a bit longer than we wanted to, but we were having fun, I think. Any last words?
Just give your shot at the Schwammy.
Yeah, see what you got. Take a. All right, see you guys.